Hello from New York, and welcome to the Music News at Noon on the Music Industry City Broadcast Network. This is where we look at the latest headlines in music, tech, and what's going on in the industry. We'll be starting the program in just a few moments, but first, some notes about today's program. Feel free to invite your friends to join in this show, and if you'd like to offer your thoughts on any of today's topics, you can request to join the stage and participate in the discussion, or comment in the chat in the video stream. You can find all of today's headlines on our website, musicindustrycity.com. Just head to the latest Music News at Noon post to see all the articles we referenced during today's broadcast. You can also register for free to get unlimited access to all the articles, news, and events in the city. And you may also watch us live on the video stream right from the website or on the Music Industry City YouTube channel. All right, is everybody ready? We begin our countdown right now.
Hello and welcome. It's great to have you with us today on this Tuesday. I'm Peter Schwing, and here's what's happening. Universal's IPO Surges. Charter Communications moves to dismiss major labels' copyright infringement lawsuit. The Weeknd sued over alleged Call Out My Name song theft. Australian live giants join forces for Vaxstage Pass initiative. And we'll check in with our UK correspondent, Angela Randall, to talk about Music Venue Trust announcing the details for Venue Day Live and Venues Day Online. Those stories coming up. But first, let's take a look at this day in music history with Eli Window. Eli.
Thanks so much, Peter. Let's take a look at this day in music history. On this date, September 21st, 1987, we lost American jazz bassist Jaco Pastorius, who died from injuries sustained in a fight. Pastorius was trying to enter the Midnight Bottle Club in Wilton Manors, Florida, where he had been banned and had become involved in a fight with a bouncer. Pastorius fell into a coma and was put on life support, passed away. On September 21st, 2015, trumpeter Ben Cowley, a member of Stax record group The Bar-Kays and the only survivor of the 1967 plane crash that killed Otis Redding, died at the age of 67 in memory. Born on this day, September 21st, 1934, Canadian singer, songwriter, musician, painter, poet, and novelist Leonard Cohen, American treasure. Also born on this date, 1943, David Hood, American bassist, best known as part of the studio backing band known as the Muscle Shoals Rhythm Section of Alabama. Born on this date, 1947, Don Felder, guitar and vocals from the Eagles. Born on this date, 1967, American country singer Faith Hill. And born on this date, 1968, true guy David Jude from hip-hop group De La Soul. Born this date, also 1972, English singer-songwriter Liam Gallagher from the popular band Oasis. Happy birthday all around. Moving on to this day in music history. On September 21st, 1971, the first edition of the BBC TV music show The Old Grey Whistle Test was aired. Presented by Richard Williams, the show included film clips of Jimi Hendrix from Monterey Festival playing Wild Thing, Bob Dylan painting Maggie's Farm, plus America and Leslie Duncan live in the studio. The influential show went on to enjoy a run from 1971 to 1987. According to presenter Bob Harris, the program derived its name from a Tin Pan Alley phrase from years before. When they first got pressing of a record, they would play it to the people they called the Old Greys, doormen in gray suits. The songs they could remember and whistle, having heard it just once or twice, had passed the Old Grey Whistle Test. And on September 21st, 2011, a contract revealing that the Beatles refused to perform in front of a segregated audience at the Cow Palace in Daly City, California, on August 31st, 1965, sold for $23,033 at an auction in Los Angeles. In addition to the desecration clause, the contract guaranteed the band $40,000 and at least 150 police officers to provide security at their show. And that's it for On This Day in Music History. Back over to you, Peter.
Thank you for that. You know, I was today's years old when I learned what the old grade whistle test was. I always wondered about that. That's what I love about this day in history. I always thought it was like they played it and if like old dogs barked or something. I don't know if it was one of those things. But I do have also someone else to say. Liam Gallagher, you know, to how he celebrated his birthday this year was by falling out of a helicopter, and he ended up splitting his nose open. And we don't know exactly how he fell out of the helicopter, but he had to cancel his Belfast gig now. And with that, has anybody checked Noel Gallagher's Twitter to see if he wished his brother a happy birthday? Because we know
a happy birthday and a happy septum repair, perhaps. But you know, I like you, Peter, was today years old when I learned what the old gray whistle test meant. So you learn something new every day in the music news at noon.
Yeah, and I'm sure, but like the way the infamous Noel and Liam Gallagher battle, I'd love to see what's going on there. All right, so to set the stage for a discussion, we provide informed perspectives and commentary on current headlines. If you'd like to offer your thoughts on one of today's topics, you can request to join the stage. I'd also like to say hi to everyone viewing our show on our video live stream on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and directly from the Music Industry City website. To stay up to date on this and other programming, you can sign up for musicindustrycity.com for more news, articles, and events. Now let's get to it. All right, happy Universal Music Group IPO Day. And this comes from Digital Music News and a whole bunch of other articles, media outlets out there have been covering this. And Universal Music Group IPO shares surge in early trading as valuation tops $50 billion. Shares of Universal Music Group opened 35% higher than the original reference price this morning. The stock price soared early in the trade on Tuesday, surpassing the initial reference point of 18.5 euros per share. Shares soared 40% to 26 euros within minutes of trading. However, early morning trade on the Euronext exchange saw UMG valuation settle around 45 billion euros. That's about 52 billion US dollars. Vivendi stockholders received 60% of UMG shares worth almost $6 billion to controlling Vivendi shareholder Vincent Bollore. Following the IPO, Vivendi SA will own around 10% of UMG, Tencent 20%, and Bill Ackman's Pershing Square hedge fund 10%, which, if anybody's been following along, that was an interesting ride because he had a SPAC that was buying, and then they said, nope, you can't do that. That SPAC's not legal. And then he figured out a way to make this happen, and then ended up going from 8% to 10% ownership. So more importantly for the music industry, the IPO values UMG at around $50 billion, and that's a 6x return in roughly 8 years, which is a fantastic achievement, regardless of the stock's ups and downs. Industry veterans may recall that SoftBank made an $8.5 billion bid for Universal in 2013. Yeah, so, all right. Let's move on to some more. Charter Communications moves to dismiss major labels' latest copyright infringement lawsuit. We're going to talk a little about copyright infringement, also something going on with the Weeknd. This has been ongoing for many years. We covered it a little bit about 2 months ago, and it is back. So the big three labels, together with its publishing firms and subsidiaries, have charged Charter Communications of both vicariously and contributory infringement. The infringement reportedly began on July 26, 2018, but the ongoing first suit claims March 24, 2013 through May 17th of 2016. Charter, the latest complaint maintains, quote, has knowingly contributed and reaped substantial profits from massive copyright infringement committed by thousands of its subscribers. Moreover, they have insisted on doing nothing despite receiving thousands of notices that detailed the illegal activity of its subscribers, despite its clear legal obligation to address the widespread illegal downloading of copyrighted works. These notices exceeded 150,000 during the second claim period the major label specified, and Charter allegedly, quote, failed to terminate or otherwise take meaningful action against the accounts of repeat infringers of which it was aware. According to the defendant, there is no indication that potential subscribers would have had any knowledge of behind-the-scenes activity. Similarly, the ISP dismisses the notion that, quote, advertising for blazing fast internet connections encouraged allegedly infringing users. And all subscribers and ISPs wants is high-speed connection. So this goes back to the fact that, you know, the labels are saying, listen, you're allowing for this, you're promoting, you know, you're marketing high-speed internet, sign up for our service, and you're letting them use that service to get easier and faster access to our music. So that's the basis of this that goes way back. All right, continuing on, this is from Complete Music Update. The Weeknd is sued over alleged Call Out My Name song theft. So they have been accused of ripping off elements of an earlier track on his 2018 hit Call Out My Name. Sunil Fox and Harry Strange claim it's from their 2015 tune, Vibe King. The two producers claim that Call Out My Name and Vibe King contain quantitatively and qualitatively similar material in their respective lead guitar and vocal hooks, including melodic, harmonic, and rhythmic elements. While the lawsuit goes into depth about the similarities, it is the story of how The Weeknd received a copy of Vibe King that stands out among prior song theft lawsuits. In April 2015, Fox and Strange claim they delivered Vibe King to his collaborator Eric White, a.k.a. PNDA, and they did so, they say, knowing that White would share the material with him, possibly resulting in a collaboration. And he says, quote, Vibe King was described as shit by him, and The Weeknd loved by him, but The Weeknd loved and enjoyed and thoroughly thought highly of Vibe King. Despite the excellent reviews, Tesfaye seemed unwilling to collaborate with Fox and Strange. In October 2016, White announced that he would reintroduce Vibe King to Tesfaye, and he said, our production team wrote the track, he told Strange, because he doesn't know you. Strange said that he met Tesfaye at a Drake event. Quote, the guy with the ponytail you met on the Drake tour who's part of the production team, he advised White to tell him. That dialogue seemed to have little effect. Then came Call Out My Name in 2018. Fox and Strange claimed that after gaining access to their track, defendants, quote, included elements in the Call Out My Name musical composition and sound recording strikingly and or substantially similar, if not identical, to original elements from the Vibe King musical composition and sound recording without a license. The Weeknd's songs, publishers, writers, collection societies, and streaming services are all named as defendants in Fox and Strange's case. So this one does stick out a little different than, like this sounds like a Marvin Gaye song, so we're going to sue you. This one is a little bit more closer that there was the potential that he heard the song, and that this is the feedback. So, these are the things that many songwriters, fear by just playing anybody their music. But then there's others like, yeah, hey, go, if you're an undiscovered songwriter and they play your music and then, it's like, oh, they stole it. Well, then go sue them and make lots of money and get future writing credits. So there's that philosophy too. And like lawyers like that one. I think Eli also has something she wants to add on this.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. I wanted to say that, part of our broadcast is live on a platform called Clubhouse, and there have been a lot of discussions lately about sharing music on Clubhouse. And I do just want to say for all artists that if you are sharing music, you do want to make sure that your music is protected, and keep in mind also that you don't want to enter a social media platform filled with folks that you don't know and play a song that is uncopyrighted. Certainly, we don't want to see songs and intellectual property stolen, but we definitely want to see rights holders and the owners of that intellectual property be prudent in protecting themselves as well. So definitely let's all make sure that we protect the intellectual property that we're coming up with, especially on platforms where we might be playing uncopyrighted and developing music and song ideas for folks that we don't particularly know well. So I think this is a really interesting article. And again, I love that you referenced the Marvin Gaye song. It's not that it's not just that we've listened to a Marvin Gaye song and that we think it's similar. This is a bit more serious of a situation. And so certainly protect yourself. And if you feel that your intellectual property as an artist has been violated, make sure that you protect yourself on the back end, but do protect yourself on the front end and be prudent in your sharing of your intellectual property and your songs as well, just as artists. For all of us, good rule of thumb.
Yeah, and going along with that is this is another reason why it's also not good to just send somebody your music, like slide into their DMs with the songs like, hey, check this out. There's a song working out. What do you think? Or, hey, can you, there's, and certain like labels, this goes back to when, there was mail and record labels, the mail room would get all these packages and they would not open them. Unopened, return to sender. And this goes along with the lines of like people, if you send an email to somebody at a label, you get their email and you slip it into an A&R's email, or they're going to delete it. And some of them have rules that they must delete unsolicited music, because if you send something to a label and then they just happen to release something and you're saying, hey, well, I sent it to you, therefore, and so you had it, and now there's a song that sounds like it, which could be totally coincidental because there are only so many notes and chords and melodies out there. So it could be completely coincidental. They've never heard the song, but you sent it to them. They've deleted it. Okay, it's a lot of them are just going to delete it right away because they don't ever want to deal with that. And that's why the packages were sent back unopened.
Peter, I can't possibly slow clap enough behind my camera here as I say that, because I work in A&R and I get a lot of music unsolicited. And I will just say that if you're an artist submitting music unsolicited, please be aware that if you're not hearing a response, it might not be a negative thing. It may be for protection. Myself as an A&R, I have to be careful about what files that I do open. I download nothing, I delete everything, and I do try to be very careful. And so, that's a big part of being prudent and protecting yourself as an artist, for sure. But I see that Queen has joined the stage. Queen, did you have an insight that you wanted to share with us on this topic? Welcome.
I'm the one that honestly, what you guys are telling me is what I fear. Like, I'm going to be honest. I haven't released a lot because I don't know how to protect myself. It's like, excuse my French, but it's like, I'm scared to have sex because I know I'm not protected. I just know that. So I just want to know, like, for people that don't have a budget or anything like that, or a machine behind them, what are some tips? Or should we get a lawyer? Should I start getting an entertainment lawyer? What should I do? I heard the trick where, okay, you get a song and then you send it to your email so you know it's yours on a lower budget thing. But what do we do? Like, what is the first step that we do as songwriters other than split sheets? If we're working with other people, what is it that the first thing that we do, Eli?
Queen, that's a deep topic that we could have a whole separate room on rather than discussing it here in the Music News at Noon. But I will say that something that might be a great resource for you is a book called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Industry. The author is Donald Passman, and this book gives a lot of information to artists and executives. This is a kind of a Bible. I myself, as an executive, always keep a current copy of this book behind my desk. That's how important it is. I reference it all the time. It's always being updated. And so if you have questions, I really highly recommend a book called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Industry by an author called Donald Passman. And this is something that's really going to help put a lot of things into clarity for you and really help you understand the best next step. Although your question, like I said, justifies its own room, and we are here in the Music News at Noon Headlines Hour. So definitely, if you'd like, you're welcome to DM me and we can discuss further, but that's definitely a loaded question. There's a lot to know. Check out that book first and foremost.
Thank you so much, and I definitely will.
Yeah, and Passman's background as a lawyer, so he really has an understanding, and that book does get technical into, he's not giving legal advice, but he really has a grasp of understanding it. So, all right, thank you for the question. Yeah, and also I mentioned Music Industry City, so if you you can also post in one of the rooms there. That we have a wall there, and if you want to post that question as a reminder, and I'll see it, and I can also probably round some up. And we should have a room discussion about this because that is such, as Eli said, a topic that we can talk about for a very long time. So thank you again. All right, moving on, we are going to head over to talk about Songtradr. And yesterday we discussed wellness in the industry and how some apps are teaming up in the music side and streaming. So it's Spotify and Headspace, and this one is a little bit different. Songtradr enters wellness space, partners with music for well-being label Myndstream. And according to the website, Myndstream uses music to, quote, harness the power of music to help listeners relax, rest, focus, reduce stress, inspire creativity, and calm anxiety. With the partnership, Songtradr will add a new genre of music with over a 1,400 song catalog. Real Music and Cutting Edge Group formed Myndstream to create music that supports personal well-being. The label has chart-topping musicians with billions of streams across all platforms, and their music has also been used in prisons, hospitals, and governmental organizations to relieve high stress levels, support conflict resolution, and to create tranquil and productive environments. The company has recently partnered with notable brands such as Calm, Sweaty Betty, Sarva, and Aloe. And, and for financing, Songtradr just announced a $50 million Series D investment round that was oversubscribed. And their platform has 800,000 members in 130 countries and offers music licensing, rights management, monetization, and distribution services. So check it out. This is a massive market that has been breaking out for the last few years. With that, let's check back in with Eli.
All right. Thanks so much, Peter. We're checking in with me, and we'd like for you to check in with your friends as well. So feel free to invite them to the show. They can participate in the conversation the same as you by requesting to come to the stage or by commenting in the chat if you're watching in our video live stream. Make sure that you follow your co-hosts. You'll be alerted when they are live. You can also watch the video live stream right from our website and access all kinds of other content and articles, including our weekday 5-minute music industry news podcast, which keeps you up to date on items that may not be covered here, such as new releases, tours, musical chairs, business and tech news, all in 5 minutes or less on the Music Industry News podcast. We'd like to thank you again so much for tuning into the Music News at Noon each and every Monday through Thursday right here on the Music Industry City Broadcast Network. Now let's continue on. First, we take a look at your weather forecast. The weather's looking at you, and you are the sunshine of its life. Moving on now with our headlines, we see Music Venue Trust announce details for Venues Day Live and Venues Day Online. With more on this headline, we go to our UK correspondent, Angela Randall. Angela?
Thanks, Eli. Music Venue Trust, better known as MVT, which represents over 900 UK grassroots music venues, has announced details of two major events during the next month, Venues Day Live and Venues Day Online, which will see the largest gathering of grassroots music venue operators and staff teams in the world. Venues Day Live returns on Tuesday, October the 5th at Earth in London for the 7th time and the first time since the pandemic. The theme for this year's event is Celebration, Catharsis, Community. Venues Day Live will provide a forum for discussion and debate, as well as networking opportunities for live music service providers to engage with small and medium-scale music venues. Musicians Union, Help Musicians UK, Safe Gigs for Women, The Zoo, and Hereby are among the many organizations who have partnered with Ticketmaster to examine the cultural, social, and economic interests affecting grassroots music venues. There will be a keynote lecture by Bobby Violin of the legendary punk grime duo Bob Violin, followed by a full day of panels and presentations. Venues Day Online will take place on Tuesday, the 12th of October via conferencing platform Hopin, a virtual venue with several dynamic sections optimized for connecting and engaging. This allows MVT to schedule all of the extra panels, presentations, debates, and one-on-one meetings that would normally be part of Venues Day. The online content is meant to complement Venues Day Live and make it more accessible. All content from Venues Day Online will be available to delegates for 3 days, providing an opportunity to revisit sessions or catch up with content missed first time round. Tickets for both events went on sale to MVA members on the 7th of September, and tickets for Venues Day Live and Online went on sale today, Tuesday, the 21st of September, at www.musicvenuetrust.com. Once again, that event is Tuesday, the 12th of October, and it should be really great. Music Venues Trust has just been a real touchstone for anyone who works in the live sector here in the UK. Their socials are so informative and provide all sorts of support and sort of content engagement and all sorts of things to support small venues and, of course, to help lobbying for the rights of the venues here and those who work in the live sector. They've really become a tour de force, and it's lovely to see them having an event like this, which just is one more arm of their the support that they've been providing in the sector. So I encourage all of you to participate in this event if you can do, because it is certainly going to be one not to miss. Back to you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, they've done so much, especially through the pandemic.
Yeah, no doubt. If you check out their socials, I know on Instagram, Music Venue Trust for a time was actually posting all of the shows that were taking place, all the gigs that were taking place in major cities around the UK. So if you happen to be here or are coming here, you'll be able to use them as a resource for that purpose. And also, if there are bands that are playing those venues, they were also posting and reposting them as well. So yeah, one hell of a support system. Kudos to them.
Right on. All right, thank you for that, Angela. All right, let's stick on the international side. We're going to go to Australia right now, and this is from IQ Mag. Australian live giants join forces for Vaxstage Pass initiative. 3 of the Australia's biggest promoters have joined forces to push vaccinations. Frontier Touring, Live Nation, and TEG have announced the Vaxstage Pass competition, which will award 5 winners 2 tickets to any of the company's 2022 stadium or arena shows. On vaxstagepass.com.au, entrants must answer the question, which live event are you most looking forward to seeing and why? And you have to do it in 25 words or less. The contest ends on November 30th. The website reads, quote, by getting vaccinated, you're playing a valuable part in getting live entertainment back on the road and making our community safer. The Live Industry Venues Entertainment Alliance spearheaded the pro-vaccination campaign #VaxTheNation earlier this month. There are around 400 Australian artists and performers who have signed up for the program. According to the Live Industry Venues and Entertainment Alliance, 79,000 jobs and $23.6 billion in economic output will be lost by 2022. The Australian Department of Health reports that 47% of adults aged 16 and up are now doubly vaccinated. So that's for everybody down under. That's vaxstagepass.com.au. All right, we were talking about yesterday and music streaming apps, and in the morning show here we were talking about streaming apps and payouts and everything, and the challenges that they have by how little they have to pay or how much they have to pay to license the music from the labels and publishers and everything, and it's hard. It's difficult for startups, and especially ones that are trying to do their best to support the musician. Well, this one, another one is coming up. This is music streaming app. The Pack created is to give local bands an alternative to Spotify and Apple Music. There's a key note here. It's local bands. So this is based also in Perth, Australia. 8 songs by Grace Newler and Joan and the Giants have surpassed 70,000 streams on Spotify, and that equates to maybe a couple $100. She goes to say, you're just investing so much in your music, and really, it's fairly ridiculous how much you get back. A recent United Nations report called the low profits many artists receive from music streaming services, quote, unacceptable, especially given the streaming firm's billion-dollar market capitalization. The World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, reported in June that Spotify paid 0.01 per song in 2022, while Apple Music just paid 0.42 cents per stream. A million streams would net an artist around $4,200 from Spotify and $10,000 from Apple Music, compared to the $8,000 Grace Newton Woodshed and her band spent to record, master, and promote one of their latest tracks. So she's had enough and wants to join a new music streaming company that supports local musicians. Instead of effectively benefiting the people at the top, she says it benefits the creators, so it gives them a revenue stream. They're building a music streaming service for unsigned local artists called The Pack. Listeners and corporations can become patrons of The Pack, putting money directly into the artist's pin. He says there's no labels or middlemen, so we're actually cutting out a very part of that conversation, and it's meaningful to artists because they'll get a much larger percent of the streaming royalty. Artists would earn 40% of the Pack's revenue, with the balance going back into the business. They say it will promote unsigned artists who are invisible on major streaming platforms without the backing of record labels to support them. They want to make it easier for music fans to discover new artists in their area and for businesses to play local music that they can't find on Spotify or Apple Music. People can help curate playlists in places they frequent, create your own space, or a coffee shop, or something like that. The software will be first tested in Perth, going live in August next year. And Spotify, just go back. Spotify denies paying a flat rate per stream, which is, people always like to go to that number, but they allocate cash depending on each artist's share of streams. And in 2020, it paid $5 billion to rights holders. This is great. I mean, the question here is starting any business or doing anything, the question is, who's your audience? And it seems to me this audience is businesses or cafes that want to support local music, and then they would pay for that to create a playlist. That's a tricky business model, I'd have to say. To find to find the venues that are willing to pay just to play local artists. You're going to have some supporters, but people will say they support the idea, but once finances come into play and being able to scale it to enough revenue that it actually becomes a viable business, it's tough. And I wish there was an easier way for companies to be able to come up with other alternatives. Anybody have some thoughts on this? All right. We're going to move on to Record Shop. Speaking of raising money, Record Shop, that's RCRD SHP, raises multi-million-dollar seed round to make more NFTs. And again, if you want to find you want to do a deeper dive into all the headlines of the day, you can go to musicindustrycity.com and just click on today's Music News at Noon post, and you'll have access to all the headlines. And this is from Music Ally, and I'm just going to read this because I love Stuart. I love his writing, so it's great. He goes, swing a cat in 2021, and you'll hit 7 companies exploring music NFTs. And that cat was probably already tokenized on the blockchain before you even picked it up. We're getting a sense that which companies have momentum partly through their fundraising. Record Shop, for example, is a startup creating NFTs based on electronic music and its surrounding culture. It launched its first collection in August and sold out in a matter of hours before repeating the trick with its second drop later that month. Now Record Shop has raised a multi-million-dollar seed funding round from a group of NFT blockchain investors, including Dapper Labs, the company behind CryptoKitties game. All right. And, so let's go back. And it's like, and you thought the tokenized cat line was a joke. Well, it also took an investment from Warner Music Group in 2019. Record Shop co-founder says, quote, the support from such high profile and knowledgeable investors validates our model and affirms that our approach to digital collectibles and electronic music culture is poised to skyrocket. Blanco y Negro, Strange Fruits, and Wookie are among the labels and artists who have worked with the company so far. Talk a little more funding and growth in the tech space. Audio analysis startup Music Cube plans U.S. expansion after funding. This is a German company that received the latest funding. They tout an AI-powered technology to analyze and tag catalogs of music. The company has just raised $560,000 of funding to continue developing its analysis product, which is already being used by clients such as Sony Music and Budget Music Publishing. Music Cube has been developing a technology for use by labels, publishers, and streaming services, while also showcasing it in a free-to-use playlist generator tool on its website. Based on the disco playlist they had to whip up to accompany the news, it has potential. The CEO, David Hoga, said, quote, our research shows that a healthy percentage, that is 40% of younger listeners, would install a playlist generator app, and that is one reason why Music Cube now has eyes on the U.S. market. And this joins an increasingly crowded audio analysis and tagging sector, which is alongside the likes of Museo, Cyanite, MyPart, and Ames API. And we're going to wrap up with this one today, Hipgnosis. And no, we are not talking about a Hipgnosis acquisition. This one is they are launching a new songwriters guild in the U.S. And so Mark Mercuriadis, the founder, has been leading the demand for songs as opposed to recordings to get a bigger share of streaming royalties. It's a campaign that led to criticism from the National Music Publishers Association boss David Israelite earlier this month. Now there is some interesting new context to that locking of industry antlers. According to Billboard, Mercuriadis, quote, has hundreds of songwriters on board for a guild he's planning similar to Hollywood's Writers Guild of America, which will be campaigning on a range of issues, including the division of the streaming pie. Mercuriadis says, quote, there's no secret the songwriter is the worst paid person in the equation. No negotiation should ever take place that affects how a songwriter is paid that doesn't have the songwriter represented in the negotiation. The new guild will apparently operate independently of Hipgnosis, although the company's role in it will surely not go down well with the music publishers. And that's it for our reads. Let's open up the stage to our audience. I am going to put 3 minutes on the clock. If you would like to offer your thoughts or comments about today's topics, now is your chance to join the conversation.
That's right, everybody. If you'd like to offer your thoughts on any of today's topics, request to join the stage or post something in the chat. And remember, you can always find all of today's show headlines at musicindustrycity.com. Feel free to join the conversation and share with us your final thoughts on today's headlines as we wrap our show. Angela, any final thoughts for us today?
Yeah, I quite like the idea that a songwriters organization is forming in the U.S. because the rules here in the U.K. for how royalties are paid from radio and from other licensing deals are just a little bit more fair towards the songwriters. So I think it's about time the U.S. Catches up and the songwriters get their just due.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if there are no final thoughts on that, Angela, thank you for that. I want to thank everyone for joining our conversation today. Thank you so much for tuning in audibly and on the video live stream chat. And we hope that we'll see you here again each and every Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Feel free to spread the word. Make sure you visit musicindustrycity.com to stay up to date on all the current happenings in the music industry, to post in the community, and access other amazing resources. My name is Eli Window, and on behalf of our UK correspondent, Angela Randall, I'd like to thank you so much for being part of today's broadcast. And now, Peter, your final thoughts for us in today's broadcast.
Yeah, we are going to be off the rest of the week, and then next week we start back full steam ahead. Just have some other events coming up, and also we are having an event on October 14th, and so make sure to check out Music Industry City if you're registered there for free. We're going to be sending out those emails this week announcing this massive event, and it's fantastic. Yeah, we got a great lineup. That's all I can say. And there's going to be more information coming out very shortly. You can follow us. Make sure to follow all the hosts here and press the green house up the top, follow the club, and also follow us on Instagram, Music Industry City, and the website. A lot of great stuff. I really think this is going to be a game changer. And, Hipgnosis, Mercuriadis, he's a brilliant man. I think he's got the leverage to make this happen. And, of course, the NMPA isn't going to be very thrilled with this because they want to play they want to play God and everything there with the Publishers Association. So that is going to do it for the Music News at Noon on this Monday from New York. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. I'm Peter Schwing, and for all my colleagues, have a rocking day. Cheers.
Cheerio.
Cheerio. Everyone, thanks for joining us. I hope you have an incredible day today.